And welcome, friends and foes, to the third day of Smashmas. Doing your daily space weather here, as we are wont to do on the regs at the Smash News Network, least busted name in news. Thanks for tuning in. Congratulations on realizing the most detailed space weather and comprehensive imagery you'll find anywhere of the sun. This is the last 24 hours from SDO in ionized helium. Some plasma splashing around down here. Also some plasma ejecting from up here. New sunspots, a higher radio flux, a big uptick in solar activity. Let's zoom out a little bit and take a look at a coronagraph to start things out on today's daily space weather video. So there are some coronagraphs for you. And we'll let you know if any coronal mass ejections are headed toward Earth a little bit later. Once again, we've got new sunspots rising here in the northeast especially. A little bit of growth with this sunspot up here, this group in the north. We've got some huge sunspot groups here in the east. Here's your colorized magnetogram. We are sort of anticipating that either we'll see more sunspots forming up here or a reduction in these sunspot groups down here. It all has to do with the heliospheric current sheet polarity. It gives us forecasting value. Don't forget to press like and subscribe if you enjoy the content. We need your assistance to get the videos onto screens. Apparently YouTube isn't particularly helpful with recommending the content. Again, it's only the most detailed space weather and most comprehensive imagery of the sun you'll find anywhere in the world. Check our playlists for all kinds of other content like Smashomash.org presents the sun's driving, riding, and pro tips, the diamond anvil too hard to smash, terms to find, even some music videos on there like Shut Up Fauci, for example. So check those out. Thanks to our YouTube subscribers for tolerating the pathetic censorship on the platform low the many years. In 2019, a crack YouTube unit was sent to social media prison for a crime we didn't commit. We promptly escaped the maximum security social media stockade of the internet underground where we survive as producers of fortune. If you have a problem, if no one else can help, and if you can find the content, maybe you can hire the Smash team. No, you certainly can. You can just click on this graphical link right here on the home page at smashomash.com and welcome to the Neo-Renaissance. If you'd like the videos to continue to exist, remain publicly visible and free for all to view, become a member of the Smash team at the gold or silver level. Thanks to our Smash team level members. We will be returning with a credit crawl soon, also for our patrons. So check out our Patreon as well. Also check our links. You'll find a link to our merch below the video, our Redbubble shop. Everything's 25% off, but not for long. Our order for our products here is order of best selling. And now, at the moment, I'm actually wearing one of the products, but it contains some words that shall not be mentioned. So I'm also wearing the Do Not Pole Vault the Caldera socks, but at the moment, my status is none of your business, which is not controversial at all because your private health information is yours and yours alone. Today's featured product is Do Not Pole Vault the Caldera. It seems like an appropriate time to recommend it. So folks, whatever you do, don't pole vault the Caldera. It may seem like you're having a bad time, and you may be indeed having a bad time, but don't worry, things could indeed get worse. In any case, don't come up with a permanent solution to a temporary problem and try to pole vault the Caldera. It could be very unhealthful. We suggest leaving your vault pole at home should you go on a volcanic vacation, something we'll be doing in the future. And if we could fund it, I would go to Mauna Loa right now to bring you some imagery of that in a live capacity. Again, save 25% site-wide, but not for long. The merch products make great gifts, some of them controversial, some of them just for fun. And I would recommend that you all subscribe to Two Pineapples. Yes, Two Pineapples. Check it out. They're streaming live right now. Mauna Loa. There you have it. Mauna Loa. As Fissure 3 continues to spill over and head down the slopes towards Saddle Road, Two Pineapples will be continuing to cover it. Doing a fine job over there at Two Pineapples. When we first started watching them, they had less subscribers than us. Now they have over 10,000. So the other volcanoes that are erupting include Shivaluch on the Kamchatka Peninsula, which is also exploding, producing a 15,000-foot ash plume. Sakurajima, 5,000-foot ash plume over Sakurajima. Suwanosejima, 8,000-foot ash plume over the Ryukyu Islands. Mount Ibu, exploding, 8,000-foot ash plume over Ibu. Semeru exploding, flight level 140 from Semeru, located on the Isle of East Java. And the effusive eruption continues at Mauna Loa. So the Fissure 3 lava has entered into a sort of a flat area, which has slowed down the advance toward the ocean. It is now about 2.7 miles from the Daniel K. Inouye Highway, otherwise known as Saddle Road, moving at about 150 feet per hour. Popocatépetl exploding in central Mexico, flight level 200 over Popocatépetl. Fuego in Guatemala exploding, flight level 150. It's a 15,000-foot ash plume. Headed to South America, we see Colombia, featuring Nevado del Ruiz exploding, 25,000-foot ash plume. 19,000-foot ash plume over Sangay in Ecuador. 15,000-foot ash plume over Revenador in Ecuador, and a 24,000-foot ash plume over Sabancaya, flight level 240. Again, please do not pole vault the caldera. Next, looking at seismicity here. And let's see, things have been pretty calm here. They're showing a 6.4. What is up with that? I don't see the 6.4. Not exactly sure where that was. Looks like the largest quake of the past 24 hours was actually a 5.7. We're just going to scroll up the list here. Let us know in the comments if you're aware of where that 6.4 occurred, or maybe it was downgraded. It'd be a huge downgrade if it was downgraded from a 6.4 to a 5.7, but in any case, just going to scroll up the list here. It's been quite seismically calm over the past 24 hours as far as the info I'm seeing here. So there you go. The largest quake appears to be this 5.7 at Indonesia. Loyalty Islands had a 5.1. Colombia had a 5.1. And let's get back to the realm of space. So we should be showing the 171 angstroms wavelength here. For some reason, we're showing 304 angstroms again, so let's fix that. There is the last 24 hours of solar activity from the SDO, house favorite wavelength, 171 angstroms ionized iron. And let's talk about the radio flux, which has come up as forecast. Radio flux now at 124 solar flux units. And if you're a new viewer, the radio flux emanates from the upper chromosphere and lower corona. This small little area right here emits radio frequency. It is the most proportional data set that we have to sunspot number. And here is the 1-year chart to put it in context. The black line is the radio flux, the red line is the sunspot number, which you can see is precipitously rising at the same time. Continuing to the space weather enthusiast dashboard, I would expect to see a high-speed coronal hole wind stream in about 4 days. So it might be off of this chart here, something like late in the day on December 6th, something like that. Maybe early in the day on December 7th, we are expecting a coronal hole high-speed stream at the moment. No space weather storms forecasted by NOAA. And here's Earth's magnetic moment from space out to about 12 Earth diameters. Seeing some variations happening there in the solar wind, most likely, causing those sudden changes in magnetohydrodynamic pressure. The units in this graphic are nanopascals, magnetohydrodynamic pressure. That's the last 4 hours of Earth's magnetic moment from space. Here's Earth's magnetic moment from the ground. Again, things are geomagnetically calm here at the moment. Geospace delta B would be changes to Earth's B field, the B field being the field going through the magnet. And thanks for commenting, Cookie Spacey. So that's where things are at the moment. Last 4 hours, planetary K index is at 2.67. 2.67 is a geomagnetically calm condition. Let's go to the real-time solar wind next to take a look at that. So there's a real-time solar wind situation. We did recently see the instrument switch from the Discover to the ACE, which is this blue to green line switch down here. So reporting a very low density solar wind speed, a very diffuse solar wind here at the moment, at only 2 protons per cubic centimeter. Solar wind velocity remains quite high at 557 kilometers per second. Also note a different plasma temperature there measured at the ACE versus the Discover. See the temperature drop in there? That is the instrument switch at that moment. So we still do have a fast solar wind speed, but just very diffuse. Also, the fields have been weakening here. So see the top pane there, the BT is only 3, and the BZ is only 0 now, returning to the equilibrated state there, where we've got the vertical component equal from the north and south polar fields. Next, the GOES magnetometer. There is the past 3 days of the GOES magnetometer readings. As we see the coronal hole high-speed stream continuing, let's look at some more magnetic data. Here is the heliospheric current sheet. And Earth has just recently moved into a south pole current sheet. We see a North Pole current sheet there showing up. So it's now indecisive as what will happen with those large sunspot groups in the east. They'll have to fight it out, magnetically speaking. And let's take a look at some more magnetic data here. Here is the line of sight field plot. The sun's B field shown here in blue. Solar polar fields in red for south and green for north. And it's time to move to coronal holes. So that may be a strengthening of that sunspot in the southeast. We do see some variations here happening with the magnetic fields. Right there at the end, you see the B field suddenly moving. We've got south pole-oriented coronal holes here dominating the Earth-facing portion of the solar disk, it looks like. All of these coronal holes, these are all south pole oriented. So this is the last 24 hours from SDO. That's south pole. This one down here appears to be south pole. So that's the last 24 hours of SDO, 211 angstroms. Major trans-equatorial coronal hole here rotating in. Once again, we can expect a high-speed coronal hole wind stream from that in approximately 4 days. Something like on the 7th. Next, moving to sunspots. And we'll have an increase in the sunspot number once again because we've got new sunspots. So there's a new group ahead of 3156. There's a new group or 2 behind 3156. So we'll have a further increase in the sunspot number and likely the radial flux. Again, we've got huge sunspots moving into face Earth. I say the most likely spot for a large flare is from the northeastern limb. It looks like this flare probability is disagreeing with me here, suggesting that the most likely spot would be the southeastern limb. It is magnetically complex as well. So that's something to keep an eye on, and let's take a look at some more views of the closest star. Here is the SDO continuum plus 193 angstroms to show the extended corona. Some great filamentary activity kicking off over here. You can see a filament release appearing to occur there. Let's take a look at the southern hemisphere in these wavelengths. And how about the north? Here's the SDO continuum alone. Again, a new sunspot group to be named here, and a new one back here as well. So, sunspot number to increase, as well as the radial flux likely to increase yet again today. It's another solar ramp up. Here's a close-up of this spectacular sunspot group. It's been mostly stable over the past 24 hours. Maybe a little bit of growth there. And let's move to energetic particles. We ain't got none. No major flares either. But no relativistic particles there showing up on the GOES 16 proton flux. Next, solar flares, not to be confused with coronal mass ejections. Remember, folks, solar flares are photons. Coronal mass ejections are mostly protons. We have moved into a C-class background range, it looks like. So pushing the boundary here of a C-class, just a background X-ray output there. And let's take a look at some close-ups and some composite imagery from SDO. 94 and 131 angstroms take 10 images per minute instead of only 2 images per minute. They're specifically formulated to observe solar flare activity. So let's take a closer look at this great sunspot group. We'll show you details about the magnetic fields toward the end of the video. We'll also take a look at this spectacular sunspot group. Very nice, very nice. And how you like them apples. Moving on to a star chart. This is what's going on above our head. We've got Mercury and Venus rising behind the sun, making those early evening stars. Go check out the sky just after sunset. You might be able to see Mercury and Venus. That's what's going on over our head in Lehigh Valley. Let's do a solar system forecast. Keep in mind this is not to scale. Here's where things will be in a week. We will have a gibbous waning moon. And let us know in the comments if Jupiter's weather has gone backwards, prompting you to believe nonsense on YouTube about the galaxy being very scary and spooky. Which brings me to a temporary aside. Oh my God, it's the galaxy. No, the galaxy is very scary. I'm spooked. I'm spooked right now. The galaxy. Oh no, space. It's very scary. So let's take a look at some coronagraphs to see if any of those CMEs are earthly directed. So there's yesterday. I don't see any halos, do you? Here's today. Also no halos. So as the world turns, it appears that we ain't got no coronal mass ejections headed toward Earth. We'll also verify that by looking at stereo A and the Soho LASCO C3, as well as some 24-hour videos. So for you new viewers out there, Earth would be off in this direction from stereo A's perspective. It would be behind you from the perspective of the Soho LASCO C3. Once again, the Soho LASCO C3 is located here at Lagrange point 1 in between Earth and Sun. Stereo A is located at Lagrange 5, trailing the Earth, orbitally speaking, seeing space weather ahead, hence the term Stereo A for ahead. And we just simply ain't got no ejecta headed in Earth's direction. But there is a great coronal hole, so you can actually see that as well. That there's a hole in that corona, a hole. There's a hole in the corona, dear Liza. Dear Liza, there's a hole in the corona. It'll be providing high-speed wind in about 4 days. So here's the last 24 in composite. Those CMEs are not earthly directed. Likelihood of additional CMEs remains nearly 100%. Here's a full zoom out. Likelihood of CMEs remains nearly 100%. So let's take a look at filaments next. Let's refresh that. So tons of filaments here on the Earth-facing portion of the solar disk. We've got the Eugene Bagashev filament up here. Can anybody name this one down here? I don't remember what it's called. We've been naming filaments on the channel, so if you want to help us out with that, drop us a comment. Tell us what you want the filaments to be named, as we've got quite a few here. I think this might be part of the AOC. I don't know. I'm not sure. We are naming filaments after living people, by the way. So let us know if you'd like any of those filaments named in the comments. Tell us which portion of the sun it's located in and the name that you'd prefer for those filaments. And let's continue on here. We don't want the video to be too long. Here's the last about 2.5 hours from the GOES 16 SUVI, and we've got some activity kicking up here in the northeast. See some instability happening there, some plasma coming out and splashing back down toward the solar surface. Yes, the surface. Here's the last 24 in one of our new favorite composites. This is 171 plus 335 angstroms. We think it gives great three-dimensionality to the solar corona. It's got a lot of character, which brings us to our bonus features segment. So we're starting out bonus features with the satellite's community dashboard, and we've got major charging hazards here, internal and surface. So major charging hazards here moving into the Atlantic Ocean, over the southern Indian Ocean, portions of South Africa, portions of northern Australia, parts of Papua New Guinea, Indonesia, etc. Lots of charging hazards. This could cause some communication breakdowns. Those are high energy electrons getting inside of satellite circuitry. Also some minor surface charging hazards in the central Pacific. We are seeing an electron storm continuing here, quite high levels of electron flux. This was well over 10 times warning levels. You can see that rising once again. Once again, for you new viewers, the N's and M's, those stand for noon and midnight local time for the GOES 16 and GOES 17 satellites, where they, from their geosynchronous near equatorial orbits, measure the electron flux at the F ionosphere layer using radiography. Here is the forecast model from NOAA. NOAA expecting continued, even higher levels of electron flux today. It looks like today is the expected peak. And I have no arguments there. There's the one-year chart to put it in context. And if it does indeed reach to the levels that they're forecasting, it'll be about the highest that we've seen in an entire year. That's the one-year chart from Solon.info of the relativistic electrons. Let's take a look at the F layer of the ionosphere. Well, it's one slice of the atmospheric pie. Right about here, the F layer, located at about 300 kilometers of altitude. And here's the vibrational frequency and the anomalygram, courtesy Australian Government Bureau of Meteorology. We are seeing continued ionospheric anomalies here, especially of the low-frequency variety. So this might not make total sense to you, so that's why we'll show the anomalygram. This is the vibrational frequency, the raw data in megahertz, millions of vibrations per second. Here is the anomalygram showing anomaly in megahertz from the 30-day median. Once again, lots of low-frequency anomalies here and some rapid swings. And we'll bring up the latest images. There is 1345 universal time ionogram, 1345 universal time anomalygram. Coming at you a little bit later than normal today. We're going to show the total electron content next. It's the free electrons between your GPS satellite and your handset. That's about 12,500 miles of altitude. And those free electrons can cause signal refraction, aka GPS errors. So there's the latest total electron content map. And here's the animation. We are seeing fairly organized total electron contents here. No major anomalies happening. This map will show you the most likely places to see GPS errors. And if you are in an area highly likely to see GPS errors, just turn on your Wi-Fi location accuracy. That will use Wi-Fi hotspots IP addresses, as their known locations will help to track your location that way. Next, latest intensitygram and latest magnetogram are both exciting. First, we'll take a look at this massive sunspot group. Yowzers. That is beta gamma delta class. Likelihood for a major flare remains for that. This group up here also quite exciting. At least 3 sunspot groups there, so lots of sunspots to get named here. This new beta gamma class group rising here, so lots of sunspots. Huge uptick here in solar activity. And if you're frightened of a low activity sun and a high activity sun, you can be frightened of both things within a week, because we went from a very low sunspot number now going back to quite a high sunspot number. You can be freaked out about low and high solar activity in the same week. Congratulations. Make sure your bunker is the exact right depth. Next, we've got yesterday plus today in multiple wavelengths to close out our space weather section, as it's time to move to the realm of meteorology. And the 211, 304 plus 171 angstroms composite is a great wavelength because it's a pretty lively looking star. Those are all portions of the ultraviolet spectrum. 2 species of ionized iron and 1 species of ionized helium are what make up these views. And before we get to meteorology, I would remind you to check out SureMed if you haven't. You can find links below the video to SureMed. It's an association membership, not insurance. The American Better Health Organization is focused on improving the health of its members, and to do so, it affords all sorts of benefits and discounts, like discounts on dental, vision, retail pharmacy, vitamins, labs, MRIs and CT scans, hearing aids, durable medical equipment. You looking to get some work done? You looking to get a discount on it? SureMed will pay for itself just via that, perhaps. Doctors by phone, counselors by phone, even virtual veterinarians are included. Yeah, virtual veterinarians, because your pet's health can affect your health. SureMed, again, links below the video and on the homepage at smashomash.com. By the way, thanks for tuning in. We do regularly stream live to Twitch as well, if you weren't aware of that, twitch.tv/smashomash. And for you Twitch viewers, these videos premiere live on YouTube at a later time. They come down from Twitch, so if you're viewing on YouTube, you would be unable to see the videos after they're live, because once they go live, they get unpublished. So check out smashomash.com/smashteam if you want to support the channel. You can also become a patron. There are also social media links there that you can check out. smashomash.com/smashteam. It is our personal, custom-made subscription services site. And of course, if you click posts, you'll even see information about the 12 days of Smashmas. Because yesterday we put up some videos. We've got some new music that we've been posting. 12 new tracks coming out for each of the first 12 days of December. Yesterday we released You, Me, Us. So check that out. You can search Golden Cat Productions. You'll be able to find our original music there on YouTube, Spotify, Amazon Music, iTunes, and lots more. Golden Cat Productions is the name of our record label. And there's even a bronze level at the Smash Team, by the way, if you're unable to or unwilling to open your cobweb-encrusted wallet and send us a few bucks a month to increase the probability these videos will continue to remain publicly visible and free for all to view. We're also on Twitter. We won't scroll too far because we want you to see what we're tweeting about, not to tell you in the YouTube videos. Twitter.com/smashomash, the platform where people believe free speech has been fixed and are just simply incorrect. Free speech not fixed by any stretch of the imagination, as deboosting, aka shadow bans, continue on the pathetic platform. You can also find links below the video to our Hemp Lucid shop. Last call for buy one, get one free. You can also save 10% with that little coupon at the bottom. Visit our link to do your shopping for your holiday gift needs. Perhaps you're going to pick up some Hemp Lucid products for your friends and foes. So do that for Christmas, perhaps. Use our link or enter the promo code SMASHOMASH10 on checkout to receive some savings that way instead. Again, you can find links below the video as well as on the homepage at smashomash.com. And once again, welcome to the Neo Renaissance. Congratulations on realizing the channel exists. And let's get into the realm of meteorology. Looking at the lowest pressure in the world. The lowest pressure in the world is about 959 hectopascals, located near Antarctica. So some quite low pressure down there, and then some high pressure. So some huge variations in pressure there happening around the Antarctic continent. There's the pressure situation of the North Polar region. That is mean atmospheric pressure at sea level, if you're wondering. There's what's going on in the eastern world. Hey, I'm incorrect. That's not the surface pressure. That's the 250 hectopascal pressure. There's the surface pressure. Perfect. All right. And let's switch to our regular old everyday wind maps. There is the surface wind scenario. For the east, here is the jet stream scenario for the east. Strong concentrated jet stream in the western Pacific. Big meridional jet stream bends here over the eastern portion of Australia. Here are the jet streams of the western world. Strong jets over the U.S. there. A convergence happening in the west and a divergence in the east. Surface winds looking like this. Surface winds of the central world looking like this. And last but not least, there are the jet streams of the central world. Once again, thanks for leaving comments. Cookie Spacey. Continuing on to our shortwave radiation map showing clouds and fog over the Americas. You can see the day-night terminator showing up there. It does affect the infrared radiation at 3.9 nanometers. That's what's going on in terms of clouds and fog over the Americas. Continuing on to our weather.gov map, we've got a bunch of alerts here, including avalanche alerts, as a lot of snow has piled up very early in the season. So we're just going to scroll down here so you can see the key. If your county is lit, head to weather.gov and click your county. A little bit more counties than we are able to cover in our brief videos. But those blue areas, those are indeed avalanche alerts. The heck is that light blue? Wind chill advisories there in Minnesota, North Dakota, and Montana. Weather.gov. So let's do some forecasts here. Here's your surface temperature anomaly forecast in degrees Celsius for the next 72 hours. That is the GFS model for temperature anomaly in degrees Celsius for the next 72 hours. We'll also show the pressure and precipitation forecast for the next 72 hours as snow continues to fall in the northwestern portion of the country. And let's see how much of that snow will continue to pile up with the 72-hour GFS total accumulated snow depth change forecast. Keep in mind that is in inches. And once again, an additional 2+ feet of snow expected to fall in portions of California. Yowzers! Also some Great Lakes snow, some minor snowfall happening there around the Great Lakes. Continuing on to our windy.com map. Let's advance this into Tuesday. There's our 3-day forecast for snow based on the Euro model. It will be a little bit snowier than it is now. So there's where things are now. And there's where things are expected to be based on the European model for snow depth. That's from windy.com. They got a great mobile app. Consider installing that. We had some lightning here across places like Kentucky, West Virginia, and portions of Pennsylvania. I don't know why the animation is so koofed. The animation is jacked up. Jacked up. There we go. That looks a little bit better. Parts of Maryland also received some lightning as well as Virginia. At the moment, we've got no terrestrial strikes, according to lightningmaps.org. We've got some Mediterranean lightning. Pretty strong storm here in the central Mediterranean. This time east of Sardinia. Next, we're going to close things out with the U.S. Doppler radar map and the shortwave radiation and the water vapor map. You got to have it. You got to have it. If you want to know what's going on with the weather, you got to know what's going on with the water vapor, which has timed out. So we're just refreshing that, and here we go. Here's the full 50-state view of AUSA, the allegedly United States of America. Here is the view of the lower 48. As some rain is making its way to the northeast. Here's a shortwave radiation map showing clouds and fog. And here's the water vapor map. We've got some high pressure air here, giving a little bit of an impulse to that moisture. That air colder and more massive. Then the air to its east. Hopefully that helps to clear things up. When your Doppler is not being clear, break out the water vapor map. It should deliver you from ignorance. There's clouds and fog once more, and there is water vapor. Thanks for tuning in. Congratulations on realizing the channel exists. Apparently citing facts is very controversial as utter nonsense continues throughout 2022. Do not pole vault the caldera, and may that solar wind be at your back. Opinions expressed in this video, not necessarily the opinions of Smash News Network, least busted name in news.